Hey folks, Jonathan here. Kind of mad right now, aggravated, perturbed about something. You know, I bought a magneto on eBay that it's a Lucas MO1, and that particular magneto they used on antique motorcycles, British motorcycles. But there's a place on the top of it to put a dynamo or a generator, whatever you want to call it, uh, right into the magneto. So I decided that for this bike that I'm building, that would be perfect. Uh, have a magneto, and then once it starts, you can run the lights. Wouldn't have to run a battery. It would save on wiring, and it would just work out a lot better. And so that's what I wanted. So I hunted one up, found one in UK on eBay, and I purchased it. And the seller evidently uses a system through eBay called the Global Shipping Program, and GSP. So he has to ship the product from him to this global shipping company that, of course, eBay I'm sure owns, and I guess they own about everything. Uh, but the problem and what really makes me mad about this situation, just got off the phone with eBay, and I've been messaging back and forth with the seller, and here's what happened. He shipped it to the place, that the global shipping place, and in UK, and they're supposed to handle all of the customs work and all that stuff and then ship it to me. Well, for some reason I got a message that came up that said that item was being held and would be take up to 3 to 5 days before it would be shipped, and which was fine. I can live with that. That's no problem. But then I got another message probably 2 hours later that said that item was restricted and that they wasn't going to ship it to me. And I thought, well, that's don't make a bit of sense. How the hell a damn excuse my language, but how a magneto would be restricted, and really couldn't figure that one out. So I went on and messaged the seller, talked to them, and they messaged me back and said, don't worry about it. If they don't ship it, that I will get refunded through eBay. So today, all this happened yesterday, and today I get an email saying that they canceled my transaction, and that my dispute case that I opened, which I never opened, was ruled in my favor, and they refunded my money. And they refunded my money in 2 payments, and which part was shipping, part was for the item, which I didn't want my money. I wanted my part. That was the whole point of it. But what happened that really got me was I noticed in the email that it said that the part would not be shipped to me, but it would not be shipped back to the seller. And that's when I started wondering, well, is the seller getting paid? Because, I don't know this guy, but, he might be a good guy, and I don't want him to be out of all the money. I mean, that wouldn't be right. So that's when I called eBay and got a hold of them, trying to figure out what was going on, and why they restricted it, because they shouldn't have never restricted it, and second, was this guy going to get refunded? Was he going to get his part back? What's the deal? And after talking to him, I guess they assume liability for the part once it's shipped to them. So for some reason, if it does not, if it's not able to ship, then I get paid back, and he still keeps his money. But my question was, what happens to the part? And from what I can understand, it will be destroyed. Now, we've got an antique Lucas magneto. I mean, there might be piles of them somewhere. There might be piles of them over in UK, but I don't have a pile of them here. So they're going to basically trash this magneto because of this, and pay him and pay me, and that's not cool. I'm not happy with that. That's not the way to do business, and I let them know that. And so you know, it's up to them as to whether they keep the item or not because it's restricted, and that's not the way to do business. So I'm going to try to contact the seller and see if he can talk to them, and maybe, hopefully, they'll ship it back to him. Uh, you know, they do this because you're supposed to save a little bit of money by shipping it globally instead of, you know, through that global shipping company instead of just doing it yourself. And, you know, if it's going to turn out like that, I told him on the phone, I told him straight up, I said, look, you know, if that's the way it's going to be, then I will make sure that they do not use that before I buy anything, because that's not good business. That's not the way to do things. And, you know, just imagine if it was a really, you know, a rare Magneto for, you know, you know, an old motorcycle that they, you know, there's only 5 left in existence, and, you know, somebody buys a part and it turns out that way. That's not the way to do business. Don't use anything that's got to do with the global shipping program just for that fact, because, you know, I went through and I actually read what they had restricted. It's restricted if you sell a motorcycle, a car, you know, a complete motorcycle, a complete car. It says nothing about parts. You know, gift cards, land, you know, I went through the whole thing, and there's nothing in there that would ever even think about restricting, you know, a Magneto. So, you know, what the real deal is, I don't know. I'm hoping to get a hold of the seller, but that's not a good program. So if you can, steer away from it. But I want to show you, I hadn't got much done on the bike, but I'm going to show you. Okay. I have changed bars and changed bars and changed bars. These are actually the Beach Cruiser bars. I had to narrow them up. I've got them on there for now. I don't know whether I'm going to use them, what I'm going to do. I did get the tank mount. I haven't finished welding it and grinding it and stuff. I got my rotor in, don't have it on yet. So it's pretty much not moved very far, but we're getting there. But anyway, sorry to complain, but appreciate everybody watching. Bye.